does.
Good evening, everyone. This is going to be my final video in the little series that I've been making on Bob over the last 2 weeks as I've been trying to learn the character. I got into the purple ranks yesterday, which was sort of my preliminary goal for the character, but more so than any rank, I felt like for the first time I was playing the character with kind of a nice intuitive flow. I'm not as comfortable with him as I'd like to be, but I felt like for the first time I was becoming a little bit of a Bob player, which felt really nice. So I want to give you my conclusions from that learning experience in this video, and then we're going to show you some gameplay at the very end. I actually had the privilege of running into some really skilled players yesterday, and I had some really fun games, so I want to show some of that at the end. But for now, maybe we should start by giving you my conclusions on Bob as a character. It's no secret that I've been sort of falling in love a little bit with this design as I've been learning more about it. I think Bob is balanced in a pretty interesting way. He doesn't have any fast standing launchers. That's kind of the most famous aspect of his character. The fastest thing you get is this 18 frame ball sack grab that is launching them with the head towards, meaning that you have to do kind of awkward combos, and even then you don't really get good damage. So that might seem like a really big downside to the character, but the fact that you don't have those fast launchers kind of forces you to focus on other more healthy aspects of your Tekken, such as your movement and placing your pokes with a lot of proficiency. It also forces you to be slightly more aware of your frame data than you would have to be with a typical character, which I think is pretty cool as well. The fact that your launchers aren't fast is sort of made up for by the fact that a lot of your standard pokes and a lot of your counter hit tools are really powerful and have some really serious range to them. And so, like I say, I think he's balanced in an interesting way, has a lot of really unique moves, and is a lot of fun to play. So I definitely recommend him to basically anybody. I think he's really, really fun. The other thing that my eyes sort of opened up to a little bit as I learned more about Bob is the fact that I really respect the changes that came to him in the Season 2 update to the game. I remember looking at the Season 2 changes for Bob when they came out and not really understanding how they were going to be very consequential for him. For example, I couldn't see what the practical application of getting a meatball roll off of your 1+2 was going to be. But now I have to admit that I think this is an absolutely amazing change for the character. Up forward 1+2 is, I think, your most important move with this character, but the fact that you can roll out of it like this means that you can use it with a lot more safety, and you can fish for hits, especially at the end of the round, looking for the round ender, and then just roll back out into relative safety. Your opponent can chase that roll with a lot of different options depending on who they play and what moves they have, but they're going to be scared to do that because of the fact that you have these powerful extensions that are going to wall splat the opponent. The 1+2 extension gives you a lot of damage and a knockdown, and the 4 gives you some nice advantage. You can go straight into a mix-up between some mids and a low, which I think is really cool. So very nice change. It makes Bob more dangerous at the end of the round, and it makes this up forward 1+2 even more of an effective harassment tool, because your opponent can deal with it in a lot of effective ways, but they have to make a prediction and basically guess every time they do, and so I think it's very, very effective. The other change that I really like for Bob, that I think is probably the most important change that came to him, is the update to his rage drive. Now, this rage drive was famously pretty poor before. It didn't see a lot of use. The character of Bob didn't see a lot of use. He still doesn't, but the rage drive was particularly poor in my opinion, because it lacked flexibility. A rage drive, the way you want to typically use it is you can throw out this big chunky mid at the end of the round from relative safety. It's usually a safe version of a move that you have that you might get punished for using otherwise, and so that a chunky hit can give you the opportunity to swing or maybe even take the round. But that's kind of a narrow application, and a lot of rage drives have additional things that they can do, such as start or end combos. And now that they've changed Bob's rage drive, he can use it as a very powerful combo ender after a spin to get some really serious damage. And if you look at my max combo damage right there, before I started recording, I did a 101 damage combo, and that's before this meatball 1 at the very end, so that's something like 115 damage. It was a very simple combo, just basically using the wall and a delayed rage drive to get the proper 60% scaling, but you can get some really impressive damage at the end of a combo using this. The damage itself isn't the impressive thing here. The fact that the rage drive has become a lot more flexible, I think, is the important part. And that's really nice, and I think that coupled with the fact that you have this just makes you a more dangerous character near the end of the round, which is really cool. Now I'm going to talk more about all of these things in a complete Bob tutorial that I will be making eventually. That takes a lot of time to, you know, write, prepare, record, edit, so you're going to have to hold out a little bit for that. But I will be making that video because I really want to develop this character as one of my best, because I like him that much, and I'm having more fun just playing online right now than I have in a long time. I've mentioned this before, and this is the other important topic I want to get to, that I've been playing Tekken 7 for a bit longer than most people because I had access to it during its arcade run here in Asia, and even though I'm like far from tired with the game, I'm actually having more fun with it now than ever. I did feel like my own Tekken was growing a little bit stale and unnecessarily aggressive a lot of the time. And so I wanted to breathe some new life into that, and a way to do that, I think, is to learn a completely new character, especially a character that functions in a very different way from what you would usually play. For example, I never play crouch dash characters, and Bob has a very important, powerful crouch dash, so it's been a chance for me to, you know, just sort of explore new cognitive pathways of enjoying Tekken, and sort of breaking down habits and building them back up in a healthier way. So that's been really cool. And so I kind of want him to be my big secondary main next to Miguel eventually, so I'm definitely going to play him more. But I wanted these videos to be less about Bob and more about that process of learning a new character and how interesting and healthy it can be. I think something that happens a lot of the time is you decide to try and learn something new, but then somewhere along the way, because it's difficult and because it takes time, you sort of give back and you sink back into old habits and old characters because it's a lot more comfortable. But if we look at, I mean, I'm definitely not like a very accomplished Bob player, but I think like I've gotten him to a point where I'm enjoying playing him, and I'm playing him at a decent enough level. I made the video where I was trying to decide what character to learn on the 6th of this month, and then I started playing Bob on the 7th, and then I got to Mighty Ruler and sort of hit a little bit of a milestone, it felt like yesterday. So that's pretty much exactly 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks is a very reasonable amount of time to spend if you're going to be able to enjoy the game in a completely new way and you know, play it with a completely new character. But actually allowing that time, I think, is very important, and you can't care about the fact that you will be losing and developing bad habits at the very beginning. You need to sort of just not look at the rank you're playing at and just trying to compare yourself to yourself and mind your own progress, and you're gonna get there eventually. Now, in January of last year, I started playing Elisa for the first time. It was another very unorthodox and weird character who I really enjoyed and got to a decent level back then. Elisa then changed a lot in Season 2, and I've since sort of my usage of her has completely fallen by the wayside, but that was also a really enjoyable experience. So I've decided to make this a little bit of a tradition of mine. No matter what happens in my sort of fighting game life going forward, every January at the start of every new year, I will pick up a completely new character, and I will attempt to try and enjoy the game in a new way, to keep it fresh and to sort of maintain, you know, a healthy approach to the way I'm playing. And if we still are making these videos, and if I'm still excuse me, playing these games next year, which I definitely expect I will, I'm not planning to play Tekken any less or make any fewer videos. Then maybe we'll make a little event out of it, you know, create some sort of platform where you guys can report in with your own progress with what you're trying to achieve, you know, for the new year. But I want to recommend to everybody that even if you're not playing, you know, Bob specifically or any character that I use, to give yourself the time and the opportunity to learn something new, because it really is one of the most fun and interesting parts of playing any fighting game, not just Tekken. So with that, I want to give you the promotion match from yesterday. I think it's kind of nice because I sort of ran into the last boss, more or less. Basically a Mishima player at a very high rank, I think Emperor or higher, so like up towards the God ranks. And the thing about Mishimas, when you run into them online when they have a higher rank than they're playing at, is they're usually extremely dangerous, because the most important strategies of the character, you know, applying fast electrics, exist universally across all the Mishima, so they have that with them from their main character, but they're playing at a lower rank, meaning that they're even more dangerous than your average Smurf, let's say. So I ran into this really high rank Heihachi player. We had a really fun game, so I'm gonna put it here at the end as a sort of nice little conclusion to my process with Bob, but it's definitely not the end of my usage with him. I'm going to try and put him even higher, and I want him to be one of my best characters going forward. But for now, thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope you've enjoyed them. We're going to go back to some more theoretical content in the weeks to come, and I will be moving. That's something I feel like YouTubers say a lot, but it's actually true for me for once. I will be moving next week, and we'll be doing maybe some videos checking out where I will be going forward. I will still be in Japan, but I am switching cities, at least for the time being. So I'll talk to you guys very soon, but for now, enjoy the gameplay, and I'll see you in the next video.
Round one. Fight. KO. Round two. Fight. Perfect. Round three. Fight. Round four. Fight.
Not
You
bad.
win.
I'll fight you anytime.